so that all of us can be silent. And it could actually replace past things that has happened to people. So you have to remember them, how, you know, the kind of person he is. Okay. So when we are all afraid, then there is nothing we can do. The man begins to do his thing. And these are initial, these are just the beginning of events. And so this message is for all Kenyans. And the question is, what is our response? Our response is not to be cowed, not to fall back in the feeling of helplessness and 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 just anger and fear, but really it is for us to think of ourselves as Kenyans. As Kenyans means we are one, and the power is with the people. It's the time for us to bring our resources, our thoughts, because we are not just fighting somebody who believes in the Constitution or somebody who's trying to do things in the right way. These are people who are doing this for themselves. They don't care about the Kenya Constitution, the way they are behaving. And I say it again, and let me say it again and again. On the street, look at how they're behaving. They just don't care. And two things may be happening. Ruto may be so scared. Okay? So he's using his last bullet, which is to instill terror because, number one, I think he has lost the West. Okay? And there's a lot of reason for that. I think somebody mentioned here use Machiavelli's, principles and try to burn the bridges that brought him to power so that he can turn to Iran, get rid of the dollar, and then create his own system. But the West is still fighting back, and others are fighting back because remember what I said. You see a country like US decide on someone. There are those inside the US who are anti, who kind of want the argument with the president, with the leadership. And so the decision was made to go with Ruto. But you have to rethink that. I don't think they're with him at this moment. So this man is trying his best. And so his ammunition is geared towards Kenyans. He can't fight them out there. So he's looking at us to get fear. And with that fear, because those are choreographed. They're shooting you so that you don't go out. So this is like a movie, classical, Western, movie, instill fear. And if we catch the bait, then we are in trouble. Uhuru is using us to look at him as helpless. There's nothing Uhuru can do. Raila, he goes with his security. Oh, this is a well-trained guy, one of the best in the world. And they take him and those 3 days. So he's saying, I'm the power here. So that all of us are afraid. And then we talk as if we don't have any other way out. We have a powerful way out. Because if we coordinate, if we come together as Azimio and other Kenya, not even Azimio, this is Kenya versus these thugs. And they're not many. All they have is power and the gun and the money. So I think it's important for us to talk, yes, recognize some of those things these guys can do. But I think let's not forget where we are. And where we are is that this guy is scared to death. He's scared to death. Because there's a sense in which our suburb and others have been given freedom in the country. And the West did not want to lose Kenya. And they still don't want to lose Kenya. So even the West has an issue with this man. So there are a lot of dynamics that we don't know here. But some of us have a little bit of understanding where they're coming from. And so it is important for us to, yes, it's vicious, it's dangerous, um, I'll pause for a moment. Somebody to come in.
Yeah, I could say something quickly. I'm listening from behind, and I just put the kids on the side so that I could speak quickly or speak a Canada. There are heavy things I want to say, and to history. And some of it is because of carelessness, some of it is because of tribalism. Now, let's go back to 2007. In our campaign, we thought we were just campaigning 42 versus 1. We did not know somebody had an organized rogue crook within us. And that is why he really wanted to deputize Raila Amolo Odinga by fire, by force. The forces within them were too powerful because he came in late. Had he come earlier, nobody would have stopped Ruto from becoming the deputy of Raila Amolo Odinga. The only advantage, he came in late. Now, when post-election violence started, and this is where we don't tell ourselves the truth, one group was organized, the other one was spontaneous. It was a reaction from what had happened. Now, the Rift Valley Mafia, the way they went to Kiambaa, what they did, all the way from Nakuru mpaka almost Gilgil, Naivasha, up to Naivasha, by the way, what they did in Kericho, all the way to Kaplong, Sotik, what they did in Eldoret, in Nandi, in some places in Trans Nzoia, you cannot tell me that it was spontaneous. It was a well-organized militia that had been there for a very long time that we were not privy of. Now, when Kibaki at that particular time, he had issues of himself, and the people that surrounded him were extremely weak and they were money-minded. So these are people who did not have a strategy or a vision beyond money. Now, remember what happens according to what we are told. Kalenjins wamefika wapi? And be honest, to watch this massaging of things, wamefika Naivasha na wamesema watapusha watu mpaka Nairobi. Uhuru goes and asks, they are having a security meeting, and ask them, are you allowing this to be? Our people are being killed. Michuki being afraid because the international community is calling him all the time, they get out of State House without having a decision of what is happening. They are going to confront it. Uhuru has no option because he has realized the intel has told them the severity of the issue. And you could ask people who are in Nakuru to tell you the truth and let people speak. That gagging of the media was the worst thing ever because Kenyans never ended up knowing the truth. Uhuru, knowing they have no option and the military cannot be used, he opted to seek help for his people. And that's why for me, even though I supported the ICC issue, I always said until today, Uhuru was helping his people. Even I, if my people are being killed, we saw it happen. When we used to have tribal clashes, na vitu zinakuwa ngumu sana, we solicited Chinkororo, come rain, come sunshine. We went to South Mogirango, we brought them, they came to the border, and they protected us. That's a fact that nobody can run from. So if Uhuru had to solicit help to help his people, where did he go wrong when the government of the day, the security operators, had refused to put a buffer zone so as they can protect and also declare that, you know what, we are almost in a semi-genocide, situation. Now, the problem now comes here, the confusion of Kenya. Because of political expediency, power got into people's head. Instead of resolving that problem once and for all, they quoted the man, wakamweka nyuma ya gari for the first time, a mere minister of agriculture, riding in a public holiday in a presidential motorcade. They started quoting him. And because they knew he was the wild card, they gave him whatever they wanted. Now, past that, they take the presidency. They are going to the Hague. They are scared to help. And fortunately, it looks like, now this is my theory. I don't know if it's, but this is where now my theory comes in. Ruto realizes two things. The Kenyattas are well endowed with money, because the amount of money that Kenyatta paid to his lawyers, my friend, it cannot be estimated. Pesa ilimwagwa. Secondly, Ruto realized that through the Itumbi Now man, because these were the people who had to look for the what? The witnesses. And they hacked into the system. And somehow they had access, because also there were people involved that still were in the government. Therefore, they gave Itumbi access. They came to know the truth of Maina Njenga. How he was able from nowhere to form a militia that was a threat. Now, given the fact now back they have gone out to fight Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, financially, they have feared that the guy can solicit again the help of Maina Njenga. A man who was able to stop these people from advancing. In fact, akawarudisha all the way mpaka Kaptembo. Alirudisha vile wajana wote kutoka Gilgil Naivasha, wale walikuwa wamefika, walirudishwa all the way to Kaptembo. And this is a history we are refusing to speak about. As dark as it is. So it is a revival of a war that they lost in 2007. Where will Ruto get all of a sudden a rogue unit that is going in Mathare, is going in Kibera, is going in Luo Nyanza, is going in Nyalenda, is going in Bay, all of a sudden, that how? That begs a question. And that is what Matiang'i used to tell us, that he has the hardest job because his job is being interfered with. Remember, when Matiang'i was telling us, these people have brought weapons. Remember the consignment that what Echesa did, we've never been told the truth. How do you get somebody who is not in the military to wear a military uniform, go to the office of the deputy president, sign a consignment and a contingency of weapons, get them out, say they are fighting cattle rustlers, the weapons are lost. Now your case in Baka today, we don't know where they are. I'm telling you, the advancement of William Samoei, this machinery started way long before, and we kept on playing. My friends, we either die together or we fight together. And it's a high time. And I came here so that I can speak to Julia, because when Julia speaks to his people, they will listen. When we speak, sometimes it comes out as tribalism. This thing is way beyond us, if you don't know. Now, the only thing is that unity of strength is what can take us from this conundrum or quandary that we have put ourselves in, because the organizational structure of these people is unbelievable. And the confidence that they have begs a question. This is a man who even told us, hata mweka Oburu Odinga, hii kitu ndachukua. And we thought he's mad. But we came to know that the men knew. Babu Owino told us when he gave us a first clip after we lost, our election was stolen. He said, "The moment I saw Waiguru go, the moment I saw Muturi go, the moment I saw people were very close to Baba and very close, I knew there was something." So, my friends, my Kenyans, shouting here, Ruto must go, or it's not going to help us. You have to arm yourself. You have to tell your people, kiumane, kirambike. Man eat man society, because that is what they have decided. We never decided. They have put that narrative out. They've decided to do it openly. Evidence is overwhelming. Evidence is overwhelming that our people have been maimed, our people have been raped, our people have been, every kind of atrocity has been done, even killed. So let me finish. Quickly. So what I'm saying is this: we cannot sit down pretty, thinking that going to the US here wanaenda kutukomboa. These people will not help us. Look at the genocide in Rwanda, classical example. Clinton was having fun with Monica Lewinsky while people were dying. 10 days later is when he said, "I did not know the magnanimity of it." He has gone there several times to apologize. Before it's late, these people only come when blood is flowing like a river. That's the only time they will come. So it's a high time you tell your people, look, this thing is beyond us. Until and unless reaction and action are opposite and equal, you do that, it is beyond you, it is beyond me, and we cannot remove Ruto by democratic means at a going court of ICC or anything like that. This guy has to be removed by force and by fire. Otherwise, if he could outmaneuver us in everything, we even changed the currency because of this man. Do you know that we changed our currency because of this man? One man making us to change the currency. We are forgetting that history. We cannot sit pretty here every time thinking that, oh, Ruto must go, nini. They know why they have taken Mainanjena. They know why they took Gaucho. They know why. These people they took this time, they know the reason. Lastly, I listened with pain. I have an advantage that I can hear the Luo very well. When Ogato Oguta was explaining in Ramogi TV on how he was abducted, there is a punchline that he said. They kept asking one question redundantly. Tell us about the plane of Raila Amolo Odinga. All they wanted is the information, yeah, Dege, yeah, Baba, nothing else. And the guy, I don't know if he told them or he didn't, but he has already told us that they wanted to know. So if he told them because of his family, to save, because sometimes as a man, you have to do everything also to raise your family, we ought to know this, that Baba must be told that kutoka sasa hizi ndege zako wacha kutumia. Baba must know that, because these people are hell-bent to finish him, because they know it is the only man that carries that country like this. If you hear now from the Mount Kenya people, they are crying of his name. Kuja tunaenda kuandamana. Last week wamesema wanaenda magari naenda kufunga the whole of Mount Kenya. Baba tusaidie maandamano. Watu wa Gatundu walimuita juu ya kofi, kuja tuandamane. Now they've come into realization that the only person that carries this country on his hands that can save them, and beyond him, we are doomed, is Baba. So what ought we to do? That is the question. The international community is not going to help you. Take it to the bank. So wachana kuongea maneno ya kuenda UN or maneno ya kuongea kuenda Hague. That is not going to help you. Those are political courts or political settlements. We need justice, we need freedom, and we need our children to have freedom. If we do not have freedom today, Babu Owino said, mimi mbunge nimefanyiwa hivi. I've been abducted 3 days. I didn't know where I was. About you, sahi mtoto wako Megi akishika utajua ako wapi? Who cares? Lala, who cares if your brother or your cousin was shot right now? Whether he dies or not, who cares? So it's us who must care. Kikulacho kinguoni mwako. We cannot talk like this and expect to remove Ruto. Ruto is laughing at us because he's 3 steps ahead of us. Thank you.
Let
Go
me
on,
issue.
Lala.
There is
Um,
something I wanted to ask Lala as a
okay.
response.
I just wanted to connect with what Alex is saying. I think it was on Saturday. When we were having a session, these earlier sessions we normally have, and I remember I told Pastor Bernard one thing. You people, you are still getting shock when you hear what Zakayo has done. You are still getting, up to now. It has not hit you, the kind of a person that we are dealing with. And I told him, me, there's nothing that shocks me. That guy, even if today you tell me that he's slaughtered his own mother, I will agree. And let me tell you, Kenyans, now you are being shown, the strategy of hustler versus dynasty, whereby particularly Kikuyus, but others also, they are being presented with this thing that the dynasty is the enemy. That means our enemy is Uhuru, Nini Kenyatta dynasty, and Odinga dynasty. Those are our enemies. Because us, we are hustlers, and them, they're in the other. So that even when you send whatever you send guys to Huru's son's house, you are mocking that dynasty. You are showing that dynasty that they no longer have power. And us, with our short-mindedness, because we have very short memory as Kenyans, we just jump on the bandwagon. But let me tell you, there's only those two people who can be able to save this country, and that is Odinga, the dynasty, whatever, and the same dynasty, Kenyatta. Because even if Mainanjenga has numbers, or the Kikuyu young men are there in the millions, they cannot remove this guy other than for funding from and purchase of the weapons. Because, and I told Nani and I told Bernard, by the way, I didn't used to be so hardliner, but I've realized we're in problem, and this problem will never end. It will never, like, for our future generations, we can be ready to be enslaved by that guy. Thank you.
I think
Lala, allow me to ask you a question, Lala.
Okay.
Regarding what you said regarding the issue of the West. You remember just last week, the IMF already gave Zakayo, you remember, is it $142 billion?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then secondly, you should also remember the comments of the ambassador regarding the finance bill, which is in court. I did indicate here that the finance bill, which is in court, already the judiciary are being blackmailed, in the sense that they are being told that if they don't pass that finance bill, their budget is going to be cut. They'll be back to where they started. So I'm not so sure what is going to happen next week. Chances are that maybe if he untwists the judiciary, he'll get his way. But regarding the West, I'm not so sure that the West are leaving it, because just less than a week ago, they approved that facility for Kenya. And Ruto was there, I think, in a photograph with the IMF. Thank you. Maybe as you go on, you can comment on that.
Let me make a little comment on that. I think as we discuss this, we have to look at this war as more than just shooting on the street. There is the political side, there is the military side of it, which is really where we feel like we have been overpowered. Then there is, of course, the psychological aspect of it. What I mean by my statement is that because Ruto feel in the beginning emboldened, and then he realized that he can create a narrative that these other people are thugs, all of us as a Neo are causing violence. That has not worked for him. It has not worked for him. The more he tries, the more it actually is evident that is the problem. So I don't think he has a lot of confidence in the West anymore himself, even though they put him there. But what has happened is that um, the West, of course, is embarrassed because of certain choices it's made. He invited Iran to White House. He's fighting the dollar, moving on the other side, and the West don't want to lose this part of the world because for security reasons and for the raw materials, Congo and other places. So they want to stay. It's about their interest, not our interest. And because of their interest, you can't trust them. They're going to use whatever they can to get their interest in. Ruto is not delivering for them at the moment. What they had planned is not working the way it's working. Okay, so they are also embarrassed. They are also feeling the heat. So everything is, and I think I gave an example some time back here in Ethiopia. Abiy, whatever his name, Abiy, was a darling of the West. He won Nobel Peace Prize. He was seen as the best in Africa. And then what happened? For some reason, he didn't do what the West wanted him to do. So the West jumped on the Tigris and others, the opposition, and they were supporting. They were giving the military, But then Abiy decided to actually go to the front line to fight, and the war began to shift towards the government side. And you know what?